What's up to Lion Talk Live? Sir, we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, it's Lions Talk Live. It is the 7th day of the month, which means, as we all know, there's only about 14, 15 more days away before people start showing up in Detroit. People start turning in saying, hey, it's time for me to get my bunk bed and everything, get ready for training camp, and let the battles begin. Who's going to win this starting spot? Who's going to make it onto the 53-man roster? Who's going to make what on the depth chart? Everything in between. But as you can tell from today's thumbnail, you know what? We got a little bit of news that came out over the holiday weekend. Apparently, Jared Goff's been putting in a whole lot of work, changing his diet, getting stronger, getting faster, the whole shebang-a-bang. There's two areas of the game he really wants to impact more this year. This could be a little bit of a segue or a tell into what John Morton wants him to do more of versus what Ben Johnson did. We're going to dive into that during the main topic of the day. I think some of you could say you could start seeing some evolution of Jared Goff's abilities, his skill sets last year, but it looks like the now 30-year-old quarterback wants to do even more. And hey, kudos to him. He got a big new contract, as we all know. A lot of guys in the NFL, you start getting to where you've been in the league 8 or so years, 9 years, whatever it may be, you start being 30, you just kind of, hey, stay pat, don't really want to change anything, want to just be good enough to keep that contract coming in, maybe even one more for Goff. But you know what? Goff apparently is dialed in this offseason on changing his physical nature, his skills on the field, trying to add more and more, and kudos to him for doing just that. Again, we'll get into that more during the main topic of the day. All right, before we do get into the main topic of the day, before we get into the 5 headlines now in the Duke Crew comment section, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that march for 13,900 subs, and we are, I don't know, we'll just say 30 subs away. Doing the math in my head, not going to worry about it. Also, if you're hitting the subscribe button, if you do me a solid, reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, that like button. We try to get all the episodes Lions Talk Live between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but most certainly, never least, if you are looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan or the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. We can have a quick conversation. Let me talk to you, try to help you out about using 30 years of experience in the industry. Save you time, save you money, save you hassle. Make sure nobody overcharges you. Make sure we get you every kind of deal we can. Hey, nothing's ever perfect in life, but at least you can have somebody with a lot of experience trying to watch your back and make sure you don't make any missteps. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get this show rocking and rolling and going. And as you guys know, that starts off with 5 headlines now. I do need to give you guys one real quick heads up. The system I use to put up all the screens and all that different stuff, it changed apparently this morning. So if I'm a little late with hitting some of the buttons, it's because I got to find the buttons now. I don't know why people just don't leave things alone at times. All right, 5 headlines now. Stats reveal how impressive Jared Goff has been in the past 3 seasons. Story by Coldwire. This will be a segue into the main topic of the day, but I wanted to get it out here. Start the conversations. If you had a guess over the last 3 years, who are the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL? Would you have named Jared Goff as one of them? You probably would say, it's my anticipation, hey, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the whole NFL, yada, yada. Let's break down the two. In fact, let me bring this on the screen. I just got to figure out how to do it nowadays with all the new stuff. But you might be surprised just how even these two guys have been during that time frame. All right, and there we go. Now we have it on the screen. I guess I could have clipped it out, but hey, good enough for you guys. All right, you see Jared Goff had during the last 3 years has 96 touchdowns. Patty Mahomes has 94. Interceptions. Goff better than Mahomes, 31-97. Let's be fair. There's a whole lot of Lions fans out there that kind of yelling, screaming about this game, that game last year. Man, we could have won this. We could have done that. You look at stats like this and you go, man, maybe I was a little wrong about Jared Goff. Maybe he is better than anticipated. All right, when it comes to the yards, he also, Jared Goff, is got a few more than Patrick Mahomes, 13,642. Obviously, Mahomes, 13,361. Completion percentage, also pro Goff. Not a huge difference, but almost a full completion percentage. And then, yes, the pass rating, 102.7 versus 97.3. So you go on from there and you can see during the last 3 years, Jared Goff has been on a historic pace for any NFL quarterback. We can all talk about, hey, maybe he's not this or that, but maybe it's time we just take a seat back and appreciate what we've had in Detroit. There are some that are obviously pro Stafford fans in the Lions fan base, and they're always going to be. Stafford, great here. He's no longer here, want to move off. And what we can say is Jared Goff has done nothing but excel during his time here. You can compare him to whoever. You can say he's not the best in the league, and that's fine. He was the number overall pick. Yes, the Rams traded up heavily to get him. And during that time that he's been a Detroit Lion, he has taken the Lions to a successful standard we haven't seen since the 1950s. He's been able to achieve things left and right, and you could say it's not just him. It's the talent. It's the coaches. You know what? Anytime something is successful, it's never one person. It's never one thing. It is a combination of things. Jared Goff is a part of the coaching staff, is a part of the players on the field, is a part of the franchise. And you know what? The stats don't lie. He has been on a massive run these 3 years. Here's my question to everybody in the Duke crew. If you had to look at these numbers, you've seen what he's done each of the last 3 seasons. What are your expectations for him this year with the talent he has out in front of him? Yes, some are going to say Frank Ragnow's retired, and that's going to be a big loss. It is a big loss. Doesn't mean the next guy isn't going to do anything, though. We all know Kevin Zeitler last year played real well. But what do you guys think? Can the Lions, can Jared Goff actually do better than last year? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you would be so kind. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Positive Sports Radio host has unfortunate Detroit Lions prediction. SI.com, story by John Macaron. You know what? I was a little surprised to see a bunch of different outlets report on this yesterday. To be fair, though, over the 4th of July weekend, there's not a whole lot going on in the NFL, just like there's not a whole lot going on anywhere other than people hitting the beach or having cookouts or whatever you're doing. So I get it. It's a slower time frame. 97.1 the tickets. Mark Ryan. I don't even know who this guy is. I do watch or listen to, I should say, 97.1 the ticket from time to time, especially when I'm driving around showing homes or whatever. But I couldn't tell you who he is. All I can say is per multiple different reports, apparently this guy is pretty positive, Pete. So, hey, I like the fact that he is that. But he's talking about how the Lions didn't do enough, in his opinion, this offseason to really try to maintain power in the NFC North. Says the Lions did, I'm paraphrasing here, so don't hold it as a direct quote, should have never let Zadarius Smith go, should have found a way to trade up for James Pierce. I did like James Pierce. I just don't know where you would have fit him in here unless you were going to change the main defensive scheme from a 4-3 to a 3-4. If you were going to do that, James Pierce probably would have made some sense. Didn't do that. Didn't like a couple of things. Didn't like Carlton Davis being let go out of the building. Whatever you can say, Mark Ryan went from being positive about the Lions to saying, I'm not so sure this is going to be a good year for us. Me, myself, and I'll get into predictions on the season once we get into training camp. I'm not going to worry about it now. Many other pundits, Ryan is wondering how veteran quarterback Jared Goff is going to perform in his 10th NFL season now that Ben Johnson has departed. We're going to talk about that more in-depthly during the main topic of the day. But you know what? I get it. Right now, you've got a couple people starting to emerge. Apparently, Mark Ryan is one of them, starting to question some of the Lions' offseason moves, what they did do, what they didn't do, what he thinks they should have done. And, hey, maybe he's got some lowered expectations for some of the players. We'll find out what actually shakes out once the season gets here. Rookie wide receiver looks like perfect fit to help Lions stay elite in a particular area. Sideline report by Brad Berryman. And, yes, they are talking about Isaac Tesla. So, here's what I'll say. The Lions during the last 3 years, they've been one of the best offenses in football. I don't think there's anybody who's going to, say otherwise about it, because we get it. The Lions have put up points at a historic pace. Greatest show in Detroit Lions history. Maybe you can put them in the argument with some of the 90s teams across the NFL. It's going to be hard to find an offense during that time frame who's performed more regularly at a high pace. But on also 97.1 the ticket, Costa and Jensen, we're talking about Isaac Tesla. Tesla, hey, we get it. There were a lot of people that threw shade at the Lions for taking him instead of a defensive end, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go through all that. You guys all lived through that. They do talk about different quotes from Brad Holmes during this story saying, hey, he was the favorite wide receiver in this year's draft class for Brad Holmes. And I could get why. I mean, from just a raw athletic standpoint, it's going to be hard to find a human being that's going to be more impressive than 6'4", 214 pounds, 4.4 speed in the 40-yard dash. He's got a heck of a vertical leap. I don't know his vertical leap off the top of my page, but you guys get it. He does a whole lot of things that you're going to want a big body wide receiver. One of the other things is this article does suggest the Lions have been great. You know what? Skip great. They have been phenomenal in the past 3 years at not dropping the ball. They've been one of the best in NFL history during that time. There's only been, I think, like 4 or 5 teams that have dropped passes at a lower rate than what Detroit's done during that 3-year window. What does Isaac Tesla really excel at? Well, he didn't put up big numbers in Arkansas. We get it. The offense didn't have much of an offense line. Quarterback play could have been a little bit iffy. They didn't really use his skill sets a ton. But when he did get the ball, you know what he didn't do? He didn't drop it at all in college. So that was going to obviously help change or keep the, I guess you could say, the status quo for the Detroit Lions receiving core. There are some speculations coming out, and it's preseason more or less for the Detroit Lions, plus any reporter out there. There are more and more people, though, starting to wonder if he will end up being the number 3 wide receiver. That's something I think when we get into the preseason and then the start of the regular season, I won't be surprised if after the first quarter of the games in the year, we do see Tesla kind of emerge as the number 3 receiver, kind of push Tim Patrick down to number 4. And it's no disrespect for Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick's a heck of a reliable, big body wide receiver, NFL veteran. But one thing Tesla has that, man, few people on earth have. That kind of size, that kind of speed. You know what? He's going to get a lot of favorable coverages. If he figures out the NFL game sooner versus later, I think that's a real possibility that at some point this year, whether it's the first quarter, first half, whatever that is this year, he might supplant Timmy Patrick as the number 3. I'm sure Tim Patrick's going to do everything he can to hold that off, which just means, hey, it's better for the Detroit Lions because both guys are going to get better and better, and that gives you more options on offense. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. I'm not so sure about this one, but let's see what the Dew Crew has to say about it. Mock trade for TJ Watt would make Brad Holmes knock Steelers door down. Sideline report by Candace Perez. Again, it's off season. Doesn't mean I have to agree with this stuff. I just reported it to you. We all know the story by now. I'm not, hey, let me help you out. Throughout the entire off season, if you've been a pass rusher with a pulse at all, you've been mocked to the Detroit Lions in some sort of trade. So Candace Perez has yet another trade scenario going down before our eyes. Defender is in the process of TJ Watt is in the process of negotiating a new deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Made it clear he ain't playing if he doesn't get a new deal. Yada yada. You guys have all heard this a million times. ESPN's Adam Schefter also says the Steelers have been open to apparently listening to overtures for Watt. I was not aware of that. I thought their stance was they were dead set against it. He ain't going anywhere. But she does have a mock trade scenario. As a 4-time All-Pro, Watt is undoubtedly a first-round pick, even if he enters the NFL draft at the age of 31. However, with him being in his final year of the current contract, it'd be merely a rental unless the Lions had plans to extend him. Should the Lions want to make a deal to extend Watt, could make for a very intriguing yet complicated in terms of long-term outlook for the way of the young talent. So she doesn't go into full specifics what they would give up, which is kind of why wouldn't you, I guess, if you're going to mock him to him. She does suggest that perhaps Lions would be offering up a 2026 second-round pick, fourth-round pick, and a 27th fifth-round pick. If you could get TJ Watt for a second-round pick, a fourth-round pick, and a fifth-round pick, I'm going to guess perhaps Brad Holmes would be pretty open to that. Watt isn't the youngest guy out there. He does have a bit of an injury history. We all probably understand he's got about a 0% chance of being traded. Would you make the trade, Duke Crew? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Me, myself, and I probably would do it. The only thing I would say is if we're going to give up those three picks, the 26, the 26 second rounder and fourth rounder, 27th, fifth rounder, you probably got to give us at least three, seventh or sixth rounders back in return so we have the same amount of picks. Trust in that scouting department, everybody. All right, last of the 5 headlines now. Dan Campbell has struggled against these 3 teams, Detroit Lions on SI by Christian Boer. Yes, while Dan Campbell has been phenomenal as a Lions head coach, he's been perfect against every team. He's had success against a whole lot of franchises, and then there's been a couple maybe we haven't been as great against. Per this report, I don't think many of us are going to disagree. The Seattle Seahawks have had their number against us the vast majority of the time. The Lions win over the Seattle Seahawks on Monday Night Football last season had to feel good for several reasons. Yes, it was an exciting victory over a good opponent in primetime. It was also the first time Dan Campbell had beaten the Seahawks in 4 meetings. We all know they've had a bunch of close games that, man, we could have got a stop here or there. We probably would have won. We all get it. But last year was the first time that we were able to get that, weight off our back, however you want to term it. While we could say that for the Seattle Seahawks, last year, the revenge tour continued for Dan Campbell as he dropped a big elbow off the top turnbuckle on the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, we're all forever going to remember, hey, Skipper got misidentified as a reporting person, not Taylor Decker. We get that. We lost a couple other games. We were just talking about Jamal Williams potentially trying to re-sign with the Detroit Lions. He had the game, 3 years ago or whatever. We're down there in Dallas. He had never fumbled a football, and what's he do? Of course, he fumbles the football around the goal line, and we end up losing. Naturally, that happens. But, yes, we got some revenge against them. And then the other one, potentially this year we can get this weight off our back, and that would be the Baltimore Ravens. These are the 3 teams that Dan Campbell has struggled against as a coach. This last year, you could say we got the proverbial monkey off the back with the Cowboys and the Seahawks. Will the Lions be able to do it this year with the Baltimore Ravens? Personally speaking, I think yes, but I'm positive, Pete, maybe too much so. I think the Lions are probably going undefeated this year. Not really, but I'll leave my season prediction when Dan O'Damas makes an appearance, probably in about 2 or 3 weeks, somewhere around there. All right, all that done out of the way. Let's get the show rocking and rolling and on over to the main topic of the day. I think we all need to keep some eyes on what Jared Goff's been doing this offseason and how it could potentially impact this upcoming season. Let's see if I can find the right button here. Yeah, it's no joke when they move these things around, and I'm not sure why. Somebody had a good idea. I guess I could debate whether or not they have that idea is correct. All right, let's go back in time to when Jared Goff entered the NFL Scouting Combine. Most of you know, and I'm just getting this one out of the way early because I know some people sit around waiting for this and then they check out, go to work, whatever. Jared Goff's big complaint, again, from some fans or the haters or the people that just doubt him. How about that? They say, hey, Goff can't run. He's not mobile. Did you know when he came into the NFL, he ran the 40-yard dash in 4.82 seconds? That's not slow by any stretch of imagination. That's kind of middle of the pack for NFL quarterbacks. I'd say if you had like a 4.5, you're probably one of the fastest quarterbacks out there. 5 or 4.9, 5.0. That's probably going to be some of the slower quarterbacks. All right, where I'm going with this, Goff apparently has heard the cries of Lions fans the last 2 years. We all know last year he actually had more footwork, more escapability than he's really shown since maybe his rookie or sophomore year in the NFL. He clearly worked on it, trying to get better. Well, reports are coming in that Goff has shaved down his 40 time. He is now clocked in at 4.73. And maybe that doesn't seem like a huge drop for most of us, but it is a pretty significant drop, especially for a 30-year-old quarterback. Multiple reports are coming in that he has continued what he started last year. He wants to be more mobile, wants to, even if he can just extend a play, get 3, 4, 5 yards, if teams are going to drop off the linebackers into coverage. We saw the Bears do that a lot, not last year, the year before. Same with the Green Bay Packers. Teams did do it last year, but Goff has come into this year wanting to push his game even higher. Now we're going to talk about push it. That's a segue into the next segment. He's worked on his arm strength. while Goff apparently is slimmed down, it's being reported about 7 to 8 pounds. His upper body mass, so this is stuff the wife would have to talk to you guys more about, but apparently he's put on some more arm strength. Part of that reason is it sounds like from Goff's representation, they understand John Morton wants to dial up more deep shots. Goff does not have, I know some people say he doesn't have big arm talent or strength downfield. I don't think that's accurate, at least from the metrics I look at. He's not in the top 5 in the league, but he's probably around, I don't know, somewhere around the 10th strongest arm in the league, something like that. He can push it downfield. But apparently, he's now throwing it about an extra 5 to 70 yards further down the field with some velocity. So if he can throw it 40 before, now you're throwing it closer to 50. That is a significant difference, again, for someone his age, somebody who's been in the league, and he's not old by any stretch of the imagination, but you can see where these subtle little improvements could affect the Detroit Lions offense. We've been talking about it since he got here. After his first year with the Detroit Lions, Goff has been an MVP candidate. If you do go back and check out his first year in Detroit, over the last, I think it was like 7 or 8 games, he was the number 4 quarterback in the NFL at multiple different stats over that time frame. Since that time frame, yes, he's been one of the top 8 quarterbacks. Last year, you could say he was probably one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. So let me ask you, Duke Crew, if he can scramble just a little bit more than what you saw last year, does that impact the other team's ability to defend him? Do you now have to kind of cheat somebody out of coverage and keep him at least near the line, knowing that, man, if I give Goff, as crazy as this sounds, crazy legs Goff, if I give him the ability, he can burn me for 3 to 5 yards, turning 1st and 10 into 2nd and 6 because he can run and scramble for a few yards. Does that help us out? I personally, as a coach, say yes. Or if, just it adds another layer to the game. He's never going to be Michael Vick. He's never going to be Justin Fields. I get that. But he's adding more and more. Now, one of the deep shots, we talked about, there were times over the time frame, was it Jameson Williams has been here, that there have been areas where they've thrown the ball deep. You can just see they're just on the wrong page. Maybe J-Mo had to slow down a little bit to catch up with the pass. If Goff has really strengthened his arm, which is being reported, does that help with more killer shots down the field to, Jameson Williams, Isaac Tesla, Khalif Raymond, whoever else you're going to add to that arsenal? It sounds like Jared Goff is doing everything he can to help make this team more rounded, a little bit more dynamic on offense, which potentially opens up the running game more because he can throw it downfield and scramble a little bit more himself. What say you, Duke Crew? Are you excited to see crazy legs Goff, deep throwing ball Goff on the field? I think anytime you can make yourself better as an athlete, that's only going to help you out and help the team out. It doesn't always have to be massive gains. I like to use this analogy with players when I coach them, and I don't care if it's professionally or high school or college. If you can just get 1% better per week, times that over the amount of length of your season, how much better did you just get? And getting 1%, even 0.5% better per week, that's not easy to do. But if Goff has done it this offseason, then you know what? Maybe he will actually be in the finalists for being one of the 1, 2, or 3 ranked people for the MVP. We'll see this season. All right, Duke Crew, let's get to you guys. I've rambled on enough about all these stories. Let's see what you guys have to say about all that. And we'll start off with JDC. Morning, all. Morning, JDC. JDC. Dre Forge rocks. Any rolls? Paperback fan, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew, exclamation point, happy Monday, and all that, and back at you. Johnny L, good morning, folks. Always a great morning to have the Duke Crew running around. Big Eddie, I believe Goff is just starting to hit his prime years. I will agree with that. Jared Goff. Yeah, I would say, and I know we've talked about it a little bit over time on the show, but for quarterbacks nowadays, so many of them, it's not just, Tom Brady. It's not just Warren Moon. You are seeing more and more quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, play into their 40s. So let that sink in. Let's assume for a shadow of a second that Jared Goff wants to play till he's 38. That's 8 more seasons. How much better can he become, especially if he takes care of his body, adds a few more skill sets, avoids big hits, and he's been incredibly durable during his NFL career. Any more? Good morning, Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! And back at you. France, good day, all. I see everyone is now on the Z to the Bears. Nice call on that a month ago or so, Coach Dan. It happens. Every once in a while I get something right. Hope we can keep them. I think we're going to keep them. I get there, one of you guys sent me a video yesterday. I don't remember who it was from. And then I want to say this morning when I was getting ready for the show, I see Woodward did a a segment on Zadarius Smith to the Bears. So it does seem like that's picking up steam. Just something I happen to hear about from people, whatever it was, a month or so ago. And hey, it seems to be that the Bears are trying to acquire him. Johnny L, Goff is going to be on fire. I think so too, man. I think this offense, not that the last 3 years haven't been predicated around his strengths, but I just think you got strong potential for more 12 personnel, an extra offensive lineman on the field or an extra tight end blocking, setting up more play action, more kill shots down the field, vertical shots down the field, more fly patterns, post patterns, etc., streak patterns, which opens up the run game, opens up the mid game, opens up the deep game. So we'll see if that holds water. Drake, I want to say, I have always had the mindset we should not have re-signed Jared. Spend the money on other players. I know a lot of people have mentioned that. That said, I'm pulling for Jared Goff to win the Super Bowl. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Yeah, and I get the logic behind it. I mean, we've talked about the Minnesota Vikings so far this offseason. I think they're an incredibly talented team. They have a massive victory if J.J. McCarthy works out because he's on a rookie deal for the next 4 years. Jared Goff, I get it. You don't give him the bag of money. You got all that extra money to spend on other players. But you need a quarterback. You do not win in the NFL if you cannot keep the defenses honest with quarterback play. So you see a ton of teams out there. Was it the Cleveland Browns? Myles Garrett said he doesn't care about I think this came out yesterday or the day before. He doesn't want a rookie or a younger player playing quarterback for him. He wants, I can't even remember his name now. He's been in the league for a gajillion years, won the Super Bowl with the Ravens. But anyways, he wants him to start the veteran quarterback because he wants a chance to win. Myles Garrett is 30 years old. He doesn't have 3 or 4 years for somebody to develop. That's kind of always been my point with Jared Goff. He's not bad. I get there are some better quarterbacks potentially in the NFL, but then again, you look at what we had in the 5 headlines now, it's going to be real hard to find somebody who's put up better stats than him in the last 3 years. So you might be able to luck out and get a rookie that comes in and supersedes expectations, but the history of the NFL suggests most rookies do not beat out veterans. All right, Jim, I'm hearing rumors that Gmo has been traded to Vegas. Could it be? I don't think so. At least nothing I know of suggests he's been traded. I personally, just my personal opinion, I don't think Jameson Williams is going anywhere. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. So, Scott, I doubt J-Mo gets traded. He's going nowhere this year, hoping never. Me too. I don't think he will, but maybe... I don't ever rule anything out. I just don't see him leaving. Johnny L, total smash mouth football this season. That's what I'm thinking. I think more and more John Morton. I think MCDC, while he clearly is a kinship with Ben Johnson, loves him and everything. Just my personal opinion, the last part of the season, then the coup de grace would have been the playoff game. I think MCDC kind of wore thin with the trickeration plays. So just a thought. Just never understood why people hate on Goff. All the guy has done is win, and we got him for a bag of donuts. Yeah, to your point, we got a first-round pick to take him. So let that sink in. You got an MVP quarterback, and we're giving you a first-round pick to take him. It tells you what the Rams thought of him. And you know what? I think we could say at this point, the Rams were wrong. JDC getting real in the D. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Drake, does anyone else think the Rams regret trading him? I do. It's no disrespect to Matt Stafford by saying that. My personal opinion, if you would have kept all that draft capital, put it more on the defense, etc., taking some weight off of the young quarterback that was Goff at that point, you probably would have still won the Super Bowl. And you would have had a lot better cap situation, draft situation, etc. And the other part is, hate to say it with athletics, Stafford's something like 4 or 5 years older than Jared Goff. So the Lions got a first-round pick to take an MVP quarterback, get a bunch of talent around them, and get younger at the quarterback position without nearly the injury history. So let that all sink in. But you can say the Rams did win the Super Bowl. All right, Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. We will go as far as the quarterback play warrants. Some, same as any team, support our quarterback, don't throw him shade. Yeah, and that's one thing I've mentioned on the show before. I have a friend who's a massive, maybe the biggest Lions fan out there. Loves himself some Matt Stafford because of it. Ever since Goff got here, he just hopes he burns. And I have to keep reminding him, if Goff burns, what's that do to your team? It means we ain't winning. So I support him because he's the quarterback. Johnny, Drake, I bet they do, 100%. Johnny L, good morning, JDC. JDC, morning to you, Johnny. Silver, good morning, coach and everyone. And back at you, Stephanie. Good morning, boys, exclamation point. Love me some JG because he has been that guy under center for the team. Like Brad said, it would be very hard to get better than what Goff has done for us. We can beat this topic to death. Goff may not be everybody's number one pick in the NFL as far as the top quarterback, but he's probably realistically in the top 10, maybe you could say top 5, and that's the difficult task. You've got half the league looking for quarterback play. So out of 32 teams, half of them are not happy with their quarterback. It means half of them would die to have a Jared Goff on their team because he brings stability out there. Every year, the half that doesn't have a quarterback are trying to find it in free agency, the draft, whatever, and they keep missing. They can't find it. So do you want the Lions to be back in that situation? Or do you want to just say, hey, man, we've got a guy. He ain't perfect, but he's an MVP front runner every year, and he's excelling. He's getting better. Let's see, Jess, greetings and salutations. He better win it this year, or I want him gone. Not a fan of his contract. I know there are some that aren't fans of the contract, but you know what? The next quarterback up getting signed is going to get an even bigger quarterback contract. And Jared Goff, since he signed that one, I want to say he went from briefly being number 1 in the NFL to now he's like number 9 in the NFL at quarterback salary. Don't hold me to that. That sounds right. So I'll give it another year, and he'll be probably around number 15 or 18. But so what did he do this offseason? And now you know, and no one's half the battle. Silver Server, I saw yesterday's podcast about Bonds needs to say I'm all for this, but I doubt it. Bonds with Detroit's receiving core would be unstoppable. He and J-Mo on one side with home run football speed. Yeah, 100%. And he does have elite size. He's not 6'4" like Tesla or anything like that, but he's roughly 5'11", 6 foot. I do think, just to get this out of the way quickly, I think that all NFL teams have probably done their due diligence looking at Bonds. There's enough there for nobody to sign him. So I'm not here to say he's guilty. I'm not here to say he's innocent. I'm just here to report the facts, and here are the facts. Nobody has signed him that I'm aware of at this time. Steve Rogers, Bonds must have something keeping teams. Yeah, wait, no one has offered him even a bad contract. I'm down with that. And yes, there's got to be something there, or maybe they're just waiting for, the charges to get pressed or not get pressed or put on him at this point. I guess that's all I can say is speculation. Big D, he's been working on his footwork and running with the ball. Yes, spot on with Jared Goff. He has been further extending it. Now, last year was one of his best running years ever, and I think we could all objectively say he looked a little bit more agile in the pocket, stepping around. Even if he wasn't taking off for yards, he was stepping away from pressure. Apparently, he's continued that trend, hired a couple people to continue to work with him, and he's gotten better at it, along with adding a little bit more arm strength. 5 fingers ready? Didn't he do that last year as well? Yes, it did. Big D, Bonds has a sexual assault situation. No charge filed as of yet, but that's his issue. Correct. And it's, especially with the draft and the scouting departments, they all had to dive into it. Nobody even felt comfortable using a 7th round pick on him. I would have thought if you would have went to me before the draft, said, okay, I get this is going to kill his draft stock somewhat, Mr. Irrelevant, make him Mr. Irrelevant. But I think also the PR problem is if you pick him even the 7th round and now these accusations are corroborated, you don't want that kind of PR hit from your fan base. Jessica, I am really hoping Z does not sign somewhere else. Please keep him in the D. I think we will, but that's just my personal opinion. Big D, I hope not, because if he didn't work out too hard last year. All right, we'll find out. Goff is mean. Yes, he is. He's mean and lean. Kerry, what up, crew? What's up, man? How you doing? Big D is I, not is. All right. So some along to my eyes regarding Bonds seems like a lot of he said, she said, which he hasn't been charged. He hasn't been charged. We got to be fair. Right now, all accusations are accusations. They're corroborated. I'm not an investigative journalist on this, so I can only tell you just kind of the loosely worded stuff I've come across. So I don't know if he's innocent or guilty. We'll wait and see. Let things play out. Let everybody have their day in court. Johnny O, why did Manning holler Omaha? Just it was his call sign when he was making an audible at the line of scrimmage. Tori Abbott, good morning. What's going on with Jared? And now you know, Big D. Yes, it's a lot of back and forth with Bonds, but it's just enough bull jive to keep teams away. Probably accurate and well said. Mary Smith, good morning, Duke crew and Lions fans. Hope everyone had a safe and blessed holiday, and please say our prayers for Texas. Yeah, what's going on with Texas, man? The floods and everything. I'm sure most of you guys have seen the video. Somebody sent it to me yesterday. I showed it to Jen. But whatever the river is, Texas River or whatever that caused all the issues, you can watch it time lapse over 30 minutes, and the thing just skyrockets up. You see why so many people were caught off guard. I know most of us probably know about the kids camp that had been around for 100 years, and this one family had run it since, I guess, the 80s, and the husband tried to save as many of the kids as he could, pulling them out of the water before he was eventually swept away. I mean, It's just a bad story, man. It's just terrible. JDC Puff, woo, coffee and Lions Talk Live. Big D, because he couldn't pronounce superfragilistic expialidocious. I'm down with that. Big D, in terms of Manning. Yeah, maybe he got a little tongue-tied twisted. Woo! Big D. Dennis, good morning. Dan and Duke. Good to see you, Dennis. It's been a hot second since we've seen you in the morning show. Johnny, Big D, laughing out loud, and you're all right. Coach Rock, good morning. All must have been working on escapability. That would be a plus for the team. Yeah, the fact that he worked on it last year but took it to another level this year, and again, the reports are he's added about 5 or so yards of vertical game to his passing ability. So that's great news. I mean, that's not easy to do. It may sound like, man, 5 yards, that's nothing. But adding that to your current arm strength, that's a massive win if it's all accurate about Jared Goff. Madly Hassadine, good morning, Dan and crew. Back at you. How's Cairo today, my friend? Hopefully you're having some delicious food for lunch. Hey, Micro Mike, I had to have my, oh boy, okay, we're moving on. Pat, so people put up with Stafford for years, 1-0. Goff has done 10 times better, and people want him gone. I'll take Goff any day. A buddy of mine, Brad, when the trade went down, my opinion, like we're sitting there talking about it, having some food, and I was like, I think they're kind of the same quarterback. They're different skill sets, but the results are incredibly similar, at least to me. We debated that for a bit. Stafford, I don't think anybody's going to debate. He's got the bigger arm as far as the rocket cannon missile, but Goff, I thought their overall, it was kind of a push what you were getting out there. All right, but Goff obviously has excelled exponentially here, where Stafford, for whatever reasons, did not. Big D, Mr. Hassani, welcome today, my friend. There you go, and good morning to everybody. Jennifer, good morning, all. Back at you. Avery T, another person we haven't seen in a hot second. Good morning, Dan! Exclamation point. Can you give me info on obtaining those peptides? Excuse me. If you want what the peptides, the stuff the wife uses and has me on, and sounds like a number of you guys at the Duke crew are using them, go to jensavagefitness.com. You check it out. I'm not getting paid anything for me to say this, Jazz. If I thought it was bogus, I would tell you guys. But here's what I can say. It didn't take long for me to notice the changes, especially in my shoulders, my chest, my waistline. Most of you guys know my blood pressure has always been fine, but it got better. It's been my cholesterol levels that were a little bit higher. They've come down exponentially. So at least do your due diligence. Check it out. If it works for you, great. But I would endorse it. Trim Raver, what up, though, Coach and Duke crew? Question mark. Woo! Back at you, Trim. Courtney, Jane Daniels used a VR headset while at LSU and Washington, trained to read defenses faster. I do recall that, and I do think it's probably the wave of the future at most higher-level colleges, let alone NFL facilities. I do know overseas, a lot of people use it in basketball. Just because that's more my forte. They used it to try to help people understand situations, different defenses, setups, how you would read this, that, and the other thing. And it's effective. You're just giving your brain more experience at reading it faster under duress. Phil, good morning. Nice new thumbnail, my friend. Avery T, I'm very interested to see how Hendon Hooker performs in the Hall of Fame game. Me too, man. I'm rooting for the guy. I want to see him just, crush it. Go out there and any kind of debate who the backup quarterback is going to be or his future here, put it to rest. Non-lifers, good morning, Dan and Duke crew starters. Heading back to Michigan today, exclamation point. We'll have a great and safe time heading back there, non-lifers. Hopefully you had a good vacation. Ziggy and friends, good morning, Captain Dan and the Duke crew. Back at you. Make it a great day. JC Gully, greetings, salutations, coach and crew. Man, same to you. William, it's because Goff is not a running quarterback. So people assume he's bad, but he played better than all the quarterbacks besides a few. Yeah, I get it. We all want the guy that can, run 40 miles per hour, do this, the other thing, throw the ball on one knee, 120 yards through the air without a problem. Finding that guy is going to be probably pretty tough, though. But what you have in Goff is he got stability, availability, and he takes care of the ball for the most part. People are going to say, man, he threw 5 picks in one game last year, and you are right. But you know what? He had 12 picks last year. 5 of them came in one game, and there were a multitude of reasons for that. Some is on him for sure. Some of it was on the offensive line. Some of it was this, that, and the other thing. Who knows, man? But we all have bad games or bad days. Kerry, since Goff came here, he hasn't lost to Stafford or Mahomes. I'll go with that. Mark, Bromar is going to have a bust-out season. Let that sink in. Let's hope so, my friend. All right. Let's see. Johnny, Goff never lost to my Mahomes. All right. Yeah. I think he's undefeated throughout his career, Rams or Lions, against Patty Mahomes. All right. Coach Rock, just hoping that to hit to the chin last year doesn't make him concussion-prone. That was a dirty hit. It is what it is at this point. He's going to have to fight through it. Hopefully it doesn't impact him in the future. But, the one thing I can say is they would have put him through a stringent concussion protocol. I do think he was probably somewhat concussed, but not to the point where obviously it was glaring. So, hopefully he goes forward from there. Johnny Mahomes, yeah, I knew where you're at with that, man. Central Scrutinizer, Green Salutations, coach and crew, back at you. Dre Day Goff will be better than last year. His focus on the little things, which most quarterbacks do not do, is brain energy from Jared Goff. Take accuracy over mobility any day of the week. There's, there are some quarterbacks that make it just on mobility. I just don't think you make it long because the older we get, probably the less athletic we all get. Where the accuracy, the quarterbacks that play into their 30s and 40s, typically that's the thing that compels them forward. They can read defenses like a coach. They pick them apart, and then they have the ability to distribute the ball, take care of it. Zig and friends, I think Goff will have a great year this year. I hope so too, man. I'm rooting for it. JDC, go Lions, go Tigers. I like the way you're thinking. Independent Aquaman, man, it's been a hot second since we've seen you. Lions Talk Live, great morning, exclamation point. Woo! Hey, Goff is the only NFL quarterback to always win against Mahomes. You're not wrong there, with at least 2 games played against each other. Yeah, I don't think, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's ever lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, Pat Mahomes. David, the Lions with Goff went 15-2 last year, and one of only 8 NFL teams to ever win 15 games a season. Some Lions fans aren't recognizing greatness. It's accurate. Yeah, we won all those games with Jared Goff, with the defense on the sidelines. We get it. Coach Rock, this macaron just blowing smoke to get red might be accurate, might be totally true. Mary, I hope Jared Goff can be better with all that talent. I think he's a good quarterback. He just seems to freeze at times when he needs to be at his best. Yeah, the big thing for him this year, we get 2 years ago, he won some playoff games, got us the NFC title game, yada, yada. Last year, yeah, let's all be fair. The playoff game, you can blame a lot of things. Goff wasn't at his best. The defense wasn't at their best. But if he comes out this year and wins another playoff game or two or gets us to the Super Bowl, I think we're all pretty happy with Jared Goff. If he goes out there and lays an egg in a playoff game, that's not going to be a fun day or week afterwards or off season. Independent Aquaman. Oh, and happy belated Independence Day. My southern neighbors here from Canada. Hey, thank you very much for that. Hopefully you enjoyed. Was it Canadian Day last week too? I think so. Don't hold me to that. Goff is the top end talent himself. I'm going with that. Kurt Steele, what up, no Duke crew? Exclamation point. What's up, Professor Steele? How you doing? Ziggy and friends, I like. All right. Hey, nothing wrong with liking the like. Trey Fitness, another person we haven't seen in a hot second. Good to see you. How many more years do you guys need for Goff to show y'all who he has been the whole time? Never been high on him, and that playoff game proved it. Have a great day, y'all. I'll go with that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, my friend. Thomas, good morning, Coach. JG called many audibles at the line. It wasn't all Ben Johnson making the decision. Jared Goff made Ben Johnson. Go Lions. Your show is top-notch. Exclamation point. Thanks for all you do. Anytime, my friend. I love doing this stuff, and thank you for the kind words. Hopefully you have a phenomenal day. Dre Day. People were not mad at the pick as much as mad at how much the Lions gave up for the third-round pick. That would be a bit much for a position most people think is solid. I got you there as far as Tesla. I get it, and I think, don't hold me this because I don't have it in the notes in front of me. I want to say we're in a 4-team race to go ahead and get Tesla. I think ultimately at the end of the day, it came down to us and the Rams. So did you want him on the Rams sideline or our sideline? Obviously, the Lions said we'd rather have him here. Kurt Steele, Jared Goff is about to hit his quarterback prime. That's what I'm saying too, my friend. Thomas, smash the like, y'all. Yeah, if you guys can, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all the buttons. Trey laughing. He's up short multiple occasions. He's come up short. He's also gotten us a couple wins. And here's what I can say as a Lions fan. I've seen him win 2 playoff games. I haven't seen any other quarterback outside of Eric Kramer in my life win 1 playoff game. Courtney, you be right there, TB. I'll go with that. Coach Rock, good morning. Mr. Steele, did that storm hit you at all? Let's hope not. Phil, did you read the report about the trade of J-Mo to the Raiders? A couple people pointed it out this morning. I just don't think it's an actual report. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess we'll all know one way or the other probably today or tomorrow. Independent Aquaman. Hey, Kurt Steele, if you're in the chat and you can hear me, do you know anything about this J-Mo to the Raiders trade? How many more years do you guys need for Goff to have already shown you who he has been the whole time? A top 3 to 5 quarterback, exclamation point. Been increasingly high on him for 2 seasons. Go to playoff win games. Prove it. I'm down with that. Thomas Hennon needs to play at a minimum half this first game. I would give him the entire game. Got to find out what we have. Yeah, I hope, Thomas, to your point, this preseason, the 4 games out there, preseason games, they give Hennon Hooker like 3 out of the 4 quarters. I know you want to use another quarter on whoever the third quarterback is to give them some reps, some development, etc. Kurt Steele, Rocky, it's a bunch of rain. It could have been a lot worse. Thanks for checking. Anytime, my friend. Kurt Steele, Phil, horrible AI story. I know YouTube's coming down on it, and a lot of the AI stuff is starting to get out of hand. Johnny, not make any puns for the Texas flood. Yeah, probably a wise move there. Leave it alone and just send some prayers their way. Thomas, trade all those picks for what? No way. I'm down with that. Phil, it was a terrible story. The Texas floods, yeah, that's a horrible story, man. Brian, good morning, everyone. Started a new job a few months ago and haven't been on. Hey, well, I'm glad to see you here, Brian. Hopefully the job is going well. Let's go, Lions. We have a game this month. Yes, we do, in just a few weeks. Brian, back at you. You know what? Since you haven't been here in a minute, let's give you I got to find all this stuff on the screen now that's been moved around. Well, maybe I'm not going to find it right away. But anyways, I was going to, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Doing what I can to find things now that the buttons have been moved. Gary, I think we'd be hard-pressed to find a better pocket passer. With 3 or 4 read speed other than Goff, probably one of the most accurate passers in the NFL I've ever seen. I'm down with that. Rock Payton yelled Omaha to probably change the play or the count. Yeah, I think it was one of his audibles. Johnny L, where are the 8 kids found? Were the 8 kids found? That I don't know. I haven't checked on it this morning. It's, just a devastating story. Carrie, morning, man of steel. Exalted nose. Coach Dan, you are an inspiration to us all. Thanks, I guess. Must be the Mountain Dew. So incredibly grateful for you and the Dew crew. Me too, man. I'm very, very thankful for the Dew crew. Exclamation point. 1,000 woos to everyone. Hey, well, let's give you 1,000 woos too, my friend. Give yourself a woo. Kurt Steele, AI stories are going crazy all over the place. Exclamation point. They are completely fooling people. They are, man, and they are getting better and better. The only way I can still tell it's AI for the most part, it's just a facial muscle usage. AI hasn't figured that out yet, and I'm not going to go into that. That's a different show. Independent Aquaman, Kerry agreed. Those who hate Goff are, let's go on that. Johnny L, really? All right, Phil, is there a backlash against AI stories? There has been a growing from a lot of different outlets. YouTube's one of them, Facebook's one of them, etc. that are starting to fight back against it. I think they probably are going to have to do something to, police it a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of people get fooled about stuff, and maybe you could have something like the War of the Worlds thing on radio from the 1930s where you cause a panic or something like that. Let's hope not. Johnny, really, Man of Steel? I'm down with that. Independent Aquaman, Phil, it's mixed. Some don't care. Some love AI stealing other stories without crediting them, and some hate it. That's the last with consistency yelling YouTube to remove those channels as suggested. Yeah, I know they're removing a lot of them because of it. Kurt Steele, Phil, YouTube is starting to demonetize AI channels. And that will probably help remove a lot of them because people aren't making money on the AI stuff. They'll probably stop doing it. Big D, I see all of them all the time on Facebook. Yeah, and hopefully they change that too. Johnny L, if it's not, it's horrible. I'm down with that. Yeah, yes. Kurt Steele, Big D, Facebook is breeding ground for AI stories. You are correct with that. Big D, if he can get 3 yards when needed, he adds so much value. I agree with that. Yeah, if he can get anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5 yards, if they're going to take that second layer of the D and drop it into deeper coverage or more zone it, where you can just take off and get a couple yards, keep it positive, not a negative. I think that's all I'm really going to ask. Big D, yeah, they said yesterday that Decker restructured his contract. Yeah, I don't think that's accurate at all. JDC, he'll be crazier legs Goff. I'm down with that. Coach Rock, going to pick up my granddaughter now, so we'll finish watching. See y'all later, Duke Crew. Have a great time with your granddaughter, my friend. Big D, to benefit the team. Let's hope he does. 3 yards is all we need from him 2 or 3 times a game. I'm down with that. Dre Day, running quarterbacks are overrated when you talk about the greatest quarterbacks of all time. They're not mobile. Even Mahomes is not a mobile quarterback. He's mostly a pocket passer. For the most part, he does, in the right situation, he can take off and burn you. Courtney, Goff's game versus Dallas was a gem, exclamation points. Pass to Sam, I am, and a bomb to J-Mo. Wow, yeah, I hope he does it again this year. Trim Reaper, Goff for MVP. He's going to be in the running, I think. Cynthia, good morning, all. Exclamation. Happy to hear Goff is gracing up his wheels. Love to see him get the MVP. Go Lions. Woo! Back at you. Grit Steele. I stick with credible news outlets and confirm with the actual that the Lions website and social media accounts. Yeah, you do have to be careful where you get your news from. You're 100% right with that, Professor Steele. Otherwise, you just never know, right? Johnny L., Sonic and Knuckles, Thunder and Lightning. God, I love this team. I think we're going to be cheering them on a whole lot into victory. Till the Hunt, Zadarius Smith to the Bears is a week-old news cycle retreads. Outlets running out of news. Yeah, probably accurate on that. Good call, especially over the holiday weekend, right? David, any news on AA? I have not heard anything in about a week. I don't suspect we'll hear anything going into camp. That's just my personal opinion. My guess is Lions are more or less told Alex that, hey, you're going to play this year or not? Let us know. If you're not going to play, they've clearly been bringing in a gajillion other linebackers. Sounds like AA wanted 13 to 15 million a year. There's no way he's getting that. No, I don't think he will. That's again, just my opinion. Johnny, peace out till tomorrow. We'll see you then. Jerome Davis, another person I haven't seen in a hot second. If Goff can have that mindset to pick up 4 to 5 more yards, if a little bit of land is open to help them out, to help small reason, we keep drives going. Yeah, keep the drives going. Don't get sacked. Even if you can just avoid taking a loss on a play and turn it even just a 1 or 2 yard gain. There's a big difference between 2nd and 8 and 2nd and 15 or 13 or whatever. You get the idea. Lion Oak, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Exclamation point, Joe Flacco. There you go. Quarterback Garrett wants. Goff is our guy. Lightning and Thundercats. Oh, yeah, Joe Flacco. That's who he wants to be the starting quarterback for the Browns versus, one of the rookies. And I get it. He's probably got, we'll say 3 to 5, maybe, somewhere in that range years left. Myles Garrett. He wants a chance to win. Who doesn't? Especially if you're a great player. If you're any kind of athlete, you want to win. So you want the best guy out there, not the guy that's going to be good in 3 to 5 years. Thomas, until we win a Super Bowl with Goff, Rams won the trade. I'll go with that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that opinion at all. Independent Aquaman, Rams won the Super Bowl because they went against the overrated Bengals while Goff went against the cheating Patriots. Hey, we can say what we want. Goff, he made some mistakes in his Super Bowl. He also had a couple touchdowns dropped. He did throw a couple would-be touchdown passes. If they would have been caught, the Rams would have won the Super Bowl, and we probably don't have Goff and Jameson Williams and 20 other picks. Miles Marker, Goff gonna have his best season. I think so too. At Steph says Independent Aquaman. Chad Yeckham, best roster in 50 years. We need to calm down and let the GM do his job. I think you are right with that. Let's see what shakes out with it. Big D, I don't understand how anybody has trouble putting Goff in top 5 because he is there all day long. I'm down with that. I agree. David, I don't think Z will come back. I hope he does, but until he signs, he's not back, right? Cynthia, Miles Margaret, I'm with you. Exclamation point. Hookadoo. Miles Margaret, Goff is going to put the crazy in legs. Oh, yeah, I'm down with that. Hit that like button, if you guys would, please. Listen to the Central Scrutinizer. Phil, if Goff runs more, it means more hits and potential injuries. Yeah, the only thing I would say, if he's going to run, you make sure somebody gets within about 2 yards, you're taking that dive, you're sliding on down, make yourself a no-fly zone for hits. Phil, what do female problems have to do with football? I don't know. We'll have to find out. Pierce, with J-Mo, that 5 yards will be huge. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking there, Pierce. Not just him. There's a multitude of players that if you can throw it out there and let them run under it, you know what? Good for us, and probably means the secondary is chasing from behind, which means they're not catching you. Phil, that gives females a lot of power in the NFL. Okay. Big D, that's what I say. 3 yards at a crack is all we need. Get OB quick as can. Yeah, I'm down with that. True Light, hey, another person I haven't seen in a hot second. Best show on YouTube. Thank you very kindly for that. You guys make it great, though. Make no mistakes about it. Jacob, I think the play calling in critical situation put Goff in a disadvantage with his footwork being questionable. Could be that, yeah, rattled, plus, some of the trick plays, other plays. I think the easy thing to say for last year's playoff game with the Commanders, we had the 7-0 lead. We got the 3rd and 1. We went empty backfield. I'm not going to go through it. Anybody who watches me do the play-by-play calling with a less than ideally mobile quarterback in Goff, I think you're just tipping your hand way too much to the defense. You're helping them out. They don't have to respect the run at all. If you got a great running game and offensive line with an accurate quarterback, make it as difficult on the defense as possible, man. Are we going to run it on 3rd and 1, or are we going to play action? Make that first layer and second layer of the defense have to cheat up, because if you don't, we're going to run it for a first down. without the quarterback. Black J.R. Jones, Lightning and Thundercats. Whoa, I'm down with that. Thank him. Stafford is just starting to read defense a couple years ago. Yes, it could be accurate. JDC, with more reps in his step, Goff will have more options. Ooh, that's a hot take. Big D, he also had a game where he had no incompletions. Yeah, I want to say he had a 18 for 18 in one game, and then had like 2 other halves where I don't think he missed a pass, something like that. Don't hold me to it, but that sounds right. Independent Aquaman, before Goff came to the Lions, he also won against Mahomes. Only NFL quarterback to always win against Mahomes. There you go. JDC, tick, tick, tick. We're ticking away. The non-Lamphers, if our O-line holds up, Goff will be in the conversation for MVP. If not, win it, exclamation point, along with the Super Bowl. Let's win the Super Bowl. Hey, and then if he gets the MVP on top of it, that'd be great. What you talking about, Phil? We'll find out. JDC, born to bread and rip and shred, go Lions. He might be just that. Thomas, Goff in playoff game, he played poor, but so did the O-line. Yeah, I want to say, and don't hold me to it, but I want to say that Graham Glasgow got destroyed on a few plays and got immediate pressure on Goff. That doesn't excuse the fumble or anything else, but it is a contributing factor in it. Miles Martin, hi, Hookadoo. I'm running around getting ready. Dentist this morning. Have fun at the dentist. Big D, hit that like, y'all. Thank you very much for that. JDC, Detroit Lions rebuilding since 1957. Stay tuned to Coach Dan, Lions Talk Live, for more updates. Go Lions! Exclamation point. Phil, that was suggested trade regarding JMO. Not that it actually is traded. I read their disclaimer. All right, I'll go with that. We'll enjoy your trip to see Kirby. There you go, Miles Martin. Laughing out loud. Trim Reaver, good morning, Professor Steele. Black J.R. Jones, prayers for Texas, 100%, man. That's just devastating stuff down there. Marco, AI stocks isn't great, excuse me. And yeah, I would say some of it needs to be policed a little bit more. We'll see if they do it. Miles Martin, AI comments and comment sections. Ugh, so easy to spot. Who talks like that? We'll find out. Trim Reaver, maturity is an age, it is a destination, said the wise man. That is Scott Mitchell. JDC, I remember the day AI met Adobe Illustrator. There you go. Gary, hey, Coach, are you going to do a live stream for the preseason? Yeah, I'll probably broadcast all the games. Let me work on some new stuff, interact. We can all talk about stuff. I'll enjoy that stuff, man. I enjoy the play-by-play. Miles Marker, one pride. Jared Goff, 100%. Hookadoo, have a great day, Miles Marker. JDC, happy trails, go Lions victory. Back at you both. Miles Marker, you too, Hookadoo, grit all day. Hookadoo, happiest trails, do crew, one pride, worldwide. All right, guys. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as quick as I can. Otherwise, if you would be so kind before checking out, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. And we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live, assuming I can find the right buttons wherever they moved them to nowadays. I'm looking for the buttons. We're trying to find the buttons. They've moved all my buttons, and now I'm still scrolling around looking for buttons. All right, anytime now. All right, here we go.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Juice for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? Help Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?